Hi everyone, I'm Daniel, and if you're new to my channel, Quick Learner, then welcome. I do Arkham videos a few times a week, including rules tutorials, card analyses, and scenario reviews. Today I'm very happy to preview a card from the upcoming The Feast of Hemlock Vale Investigator expansion. Thank you, of course, to Fantasy Flight Games for providing me with a card to talk about. When I first got the card, I couldn't help but think of other similar cards that we've seen before. It's as though they stuck a bunch of cards into a blender. There's a little bit of Act of Desperation in it. It does a little something similar to Cheap Shot. And for good measure, there's also a little bit of the new hand-eye coordination tacked on as well. Give that concoction a good dash of the secret Seeker sauce. And don't forget to add a big hairy spider and set the blender on liquefy. Out comes throw the book at them. Okay, let's read through this one together. It's a level 0 Seeker event costing just one resource with the Gambit and Improvised traits. Fight. Choose a tome asset you control. You get plus X combat, where X is that asset's printed cost. If you succeed, you may either automatically evade the attacked enemy, or after the attack ends, you may resolve an action triggered or free triggered ability on the chosen asset, ignoring its activate action cost, if any. And it's got this fantastic art by David Hovey of Daisy slamming a book onto a giant spider's head. So, just to review, the card gets you a skill boost to hit, and one of the following. Either evade the enemy, which could be engaged with another player, which is nice, or you save an action and avoid an attack of opportunity on a tome. It bears repeating, you don't get both things, just either the evade or the tome ability, but you do need a tome in play either way to play the card. So, which book do you want to throw on this giant spider? By the way, unlike Act of Desperation, you do keep the book in play, so thematically I guess you just go pick the thing up off the ground. Anyway, only about 31 tomes that I could find had an action triggered ability printed on them. You could of course use a tome with no triggered abilities on it just for the skill boost and the automatic evade, but that's not particularly interesting to talk about for the rest of the video. And I don't know why the card lets you use a free triggered ability. You could have just used that before or after the test without spending any actions anyway. Well, of those 31 tomes, 13 have a cost greater than or equal to 3, which is probably a reasonable boost for investigators trying to actually succeed in the test. We'll come back to that issue a bit later. And of course, most tomes are in the Seeker class, although there are some interesting ones in Mystic. Before we go through some interesting tomes that I came up with, a few rules clarifications. I wondered that if you could use a tome like Daisy's Necronomicon, even though it doesn't have a printed cost. And the Forbidden Tome also came to mind. Does ignoring its activate action cost mean ignoring all of the actions spent for the cost, or just one? That would seem like a bit much to me, but I thought I'd get official clarification. So here are the answers I got from Duke Harris, one of the lead designers on the game. First, you can use the Necronomicon, no problem, but no skill boost, which might hurt. And indeed, ignoring the activate action cost means ignoring one action spent, not all of them. Sorry if you're hoping to use hand-eye coordination to choose the cost of Sledgehammer 4. It doesn't work. Alright, with that out of the way, let's first take a look at some off-class tomes. First, Divermus Mysterious and Abyssal Tome are kind of a neat way to maybe finish off the enemy that you were fighting with. You'll still need to exhaust the book and place the doom, you're just ignoring the single action cost. Neither one gives a huge skill boost to the initial fight though, so let's look at some more expensive books. How about Scroll of Prophecies? You can maybe look for another event to fight with, or maybe give another investigator the chance to dig for something they desperately need to fight the enemy. There's also a Book of Shadows. I don't really see this card played, but maybe this is a sneaky way to add another charge to Shriveling or something else. There's also an upgraded version from the core set, and it costs 4. Finally, there's Book of Psalms as the Lone Guardian Tome. Is it a good idea to sneak in some Bless tokens before you take another swing at the enemy? I don't know, maybe so. Alright, moving on to the Seeker tomes. Of course, there are quite a few of them. I'm just going to give you 6 that I found somewhat interesting. Okay, so remember that you're probably still engaged with the enemy that you just attacked with throw the book at them when you use the tome ability. Now what? Well, you're a Seeker, maybe you just get some more clues. Why not use Grim Memoir? Maybe that clue allows you to deal some damage with Alice Luxley or Charles West, I don't know. Or maybe you just need one more clue to advance the act and end the scenario, and throw the book at them as protecting you from the attack of opportunity. Well, there are some other cool ideas in that vein, maybe the Prophecy of Profana? It costs 4, and you can use the ability to get you or someone else out of your location and over to the locus. Although the Profana itself keeps you from getting attacked, so maybe that's not necessary. Okay, maybe the idea works better with either of the esoteric atlases. The problem here is that if the enemy you attacked is still engaged with you, you'll bring them with you to wherever you're going, unless they're massive, I guess. Alright, last idea. Let's just use our tome ability to find a more permanent solution to the enemy. Enter Narcotic Manuscripts. We can use the ability to not reveal a Chaos token on the next skill test. Perfect for our friend who has a shotgun at the ready. Or maybe Gray's Anatomy, which lets us take another test, again protected by the attack of opportunity, to essentially deal 3 more damage. I like this combo the best, since the next time the enemy would be dealt damage could be by your own hand, maybe a blood right or something like that. Alright, I'm sure I'm missing something. Let me know down in the comments of some other cool tomes that might work well here. And maybe there's another useful tome coming out in Hemlock Vale that I don't know about yet. So let's get into the downsides of this card. Of course, it's level 0, so we can't expect everything, but is it worth putting in your deck at all? First off, unlike Mind Over Matter or I've Got a Plan, this requires Seekers to actually pass a combat test, even with the boost. This is not a given. All of them have a base combat value of 1 or 2, except for Vincent Lee, who has 3, and Joe Diamond, who has 4. And how many tomes are you running in Joe Diamond? Amanda Sharp could be able to pull off something here as part of a combat-heavy turn, but other than that, you might look at this in an off-class investigator, but except for Roland, they all have low combat values too. Again, is this good enough to run tomes in Roland? Next, the card does only 1 damage. For a single fight event from a class that doesn't fight much, I don't think this is enough. The automatic evade might be enough to make this playable, but I worry that it's too easy to fail the test. Of course, I've been assuming that 1 damage is not enough to dispatch the enemy. Maybe this is really meant to finish off someone else's mess and get the action back. And if you're fighting a swarm of rats, this seems pretty great. The thing is, most of the time, you're not fighting a swarm of rats. Seeker does have a lot of other ways to deal with enemies. Mind Over Matter is a core set staple that lets you use the stat that you're best at. And I've Got a Plan, Blood Right, Occult Invocation are some great ways to deal 2 or more damage before you need to look into your off class. While I don't play true solo much, I can see that the action compression here is quite useful when you don't have anyone else around to help out. While I think Throw the Book at Them is cool, I'm not too high on it at the moment until we get some more useful tomes or some Seekers who are better at combat. So that's about it for this video. Thank you for watching, and whoops, what's this? Oh, I have another card to show you, although it's probably not new to many of you since we did see Wolf Mask in German and Spanish last August, but here it is in English. It's another mask asset after the Sparrow Mask that was introduced when the campaign was previewed last August. And there was another one you might have seen a few hours ago too. After all, it is Mask Week. Wolf Mask is really great, a really cheap, slotless item that lets you spend an offering to get +2 combat or +2 agility to a test. Both are excellent numbers for Guardians or whoever else can take charms. You can only have 1 mask in play and only up to 2 offerings on the mask, but it replenishes those offerings after you engage an enemy right when you want to use those boosts. Of course, you can also use them for treacheries or other cards too, which makes this card extremely versatile. The masks in general seem pretty strong to me, especially at level 0. I've played the Sparrow Mask in Calvin Wright, and right now I've been trying out the Wolf Mask in Schizo Tool, and it's been going great. I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of the masks, and I'll do a more comprehensive video on all of them together once they've been fully revealed this week. That's it for now then. Thank you for watching, and again, if you're new to the channel, please check out my other Arkham content. There's bound to be something interesting to you.